How do you feel about dating in Vietnam?
Honestly, dating in Vietnam is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Would be maybe like around $20.
$20.
$20 an hour, maybe
Right.
$18 an hour, and then it can go up from there. So my current school, or my new job,
Yeah.
I'm starting a new job. My new job is $25 to $35 an
Wow.
hour, which is more than what I made at my insurance job.
What's up, people? Welcome back to People That Travel, where I interview humans that have an itch to get away from home, to travel, follow their dreams. Because let's face it, we're all gonna die, and how sad would it be to stay in the same place that you were born? And today I have Cass, a 20-year-old or soon to be 20-year-old Canadian that has lived in Vietnam for more than 3 years. We're currently right now in Ho Chi Minh, Vietnam, and she's gonna explain to us why is it that she left beautiful Canada for a third world country. Is it worth it? How is she making her money? Why has she been here for 3 years? And is it worth it for you guys to come to Vietnam? Cass, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here, actually. Thank you for inviting me, Christian.
Oh, and I also forgot to mention, Kaz is actually a TikToker and a YouTuber.
Yes. Yeah.
All her stuff will be in the description, so go check her out. But Kaz, I'm very interested about this interview because I meet a lot of people that travel, but not a lot of them say that they stayed in Vietnam for 3 years. So I'm very curious to know about that. But before we dive into that, let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about what were you doing in Canada before you came to Vietnam?
All right. So I went to University of Ottawa in Ottawa, Canada. I did my degree in psychology and criminology.
Okay.
And all throughout university, I worked for the same car and home insurance company, which I hated. I hated it so much, but as a university student, it was kind of the perfect job. The pay was amazing.
Okay.
It was a lot of work. You know, it's not like doing retail. You need a license, and you're dealing with potentially millions of dollars. So
Right.
as like a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, it's a bit intimidating.
Right. So stressful.
Yeah, stressful, but worth the paycheck.
Right.
So I worked there all of my university career, and then for about a year after I graduated, and I hated it. I hated it so much. You know, working in an office every day, it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So I decided to leave and move to Vietnam.
Okay. What about your career, though? Because you were pursuing a career in criminology, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so actually I wanted to be a psychologist.
Okay.
I still do in the back of my mind, but you know, it's a very intense process. You know, you need a lot of like high grade requirements, thesis, things like that. And I just didn't really meet some of those requirements, mostly for
Okay.
me. For
Yeah,
example, I couldn't do my thesis because I preferred to do a semester abroad. So I moved to England for 6 months instead
Right.
of writing a thesis. But I don't regret that at all,
No,
actually.
no, not at all. And I was going to ask you about that because maybe a lot of people that are watching are in the same shoes that you were in before when you were in university, working a side job, and just really working towards your future, but staying in the same place. What was it that sparked for you to want to move abroad or move somewhere else? When you were young, did your parents travel a lot, or where did traveling come in mind?
Good question. So when I was younger, we went to Mexico, Dominican a few times. It's kind of like the standard vacation if you're from Canada. It's close. They do all inclusive, so they get a little bit of traveling. But I guess like my first real travel experience was in grade 11. My school board organized a trip to France and Italy. So I went to a French Catholic school, so France, French,
Right.
Catholic, Italy, and we went for 2 weeks. It was absolutely amazing. And ever since then, I just always knew that when I went to university, I would study abroad. And thankfully, I was able to do that. I went to Leeds, England for, like I said, 6 months. I traveled a lot during that time. Like I would skip class sometimes to go travel, but
Right,
that's
right.
fine. You know, the classes were so easy. I didn't need to go.
Yeah,
I didn't need to go.
My advice for people is travel over school.
Yeah, well,
100%.
I guess if you're paying all that money, like maybe don't do both at the same time. Maybe pick one.
Exactly.
But yeah, that was so eye opening. And with Asia, yeah.
But the people that you went with on that grade 11 trip, are they similar minded as you are, or
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay,
Like,
you don't know.
I can't really speak for that now. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
The 5 people that I went from my school, I don't think any of them have like really traveled at all.
Right, okay.
So from that group, I'm the only one that's kind of gone and
Yeah.
done something. And all of my friends, same thing. Like none of them have really traveled extensively. I'm kind
Right.
of the only one. So they're all back at home, and I still love them though. I love you guys. They are back at home. You know, I'm really happy for them. Some of them have houses. Some of them are engaged now. It's really exciting. You know,
Of course.
they have children.
It's a
just
different
not
life.
for me. Not for
Yeah,
me.
no, I get that. Okay, okay. So after you traveled to England,
Yeah.
and around Europe, then you went back home.
Yeah.
And then that's when you realized, like, I can't stay here.
Oh my gosh. For a year, almost a year after I came back from England, I was like seriously depressed.
What?
Yeah, it was just,
Yeah.
it was so hard to go from just, hey, let's go to Budapest this weekend, you know, to just being kind of stuck in Canada, back at my old job.
Yeah.
I just kind of fell back right where I left.
Right.
Nothing had changed. Same friends, same job, same city, same everything. It's just like the last 6 months never happened. That's kind of what it felt to me.
Right.
So,
yeah. Nothing moved, nothing changed.
but
I know
I
exactly what you mean.
changed.
But you grew.
But no one else kind of did. So, and I know, like, if you've ever studied abroad or gone abroad, when you come back, you realize nobody cares. Like, not to be rude, but nobody cares.
Nobody realizes.
And you feel like pretentious, like, oh yeah, you know, that one time I was in France, like I had the best baguette ever. Like, no one cares, to be completely honest. So that was really hard for me. And like, I just remember kind of keeping mostly in contact with the people that I met abroad because they understood where I was coming from.
Right.
So after that, I knew like I had to go and do something at some point.
Okay.
Obviously finish my degree first, but after that I had to.
Yeah.
I'd
So
go.
you finished your degree, and then you said, okay, I don't want to stay in Canada. I want to go somewhere else. And Vietnam came to
Yeah.
mind, or the opportunity came upon you. How did that happen?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm not like Martin Luther King Jr. or anything, but I had a dream, okay? I'm serious. I'm not making this up. I had a dream. So, in December of what year are we now? 2018?
Yeah, I guess 2018.
2017, one of those times, I broke my ankle. I had surgery on my ankle. I was
What?
housebound for like 6 weeks.
Oh, I'm
Really,
sorry.
really depressing.
That's horrible.
But yeah, I was super depressed. I couldn't go anywhere, and it just gave me a lot of time to think and evaluate like what was I doing with my life. Like after I graduated, I still kept working for that company, but you know I didn't want to be there forever, and I didn't know what to do. So yeah, one night I had a dream, and the dream was that I was just in Thailand. I'm pretty sure it was Thailand in the dream. And when I woke up, I just thought, well, why could I not do that? Like, how can I make this possible?
Right,
So
right,
I had no
right.
money though. Like I had no money. So I knew that just going and traveling for an extended period of time wouldn't be possible.
Of course.
I needed the dough. So I just thought, okay, well, what if I go and teach there? And kind of going back like really far, and when I was in grade 7, my parents kind of wanted to move us to Thailand for a year. I should have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, they wanted to move us to Thailand for a year. My mom was going to teach, and my dad was going to be like a golf instructor, but we didn't do that.
Right.
Instead, my parents separated.
Oh, your parents are separated.
Yeah, so, but yeah, going back to the dream here, I was like, well, I could teach English, and I did a lot more research, and I found that Thailand just didn't pay as much as I wanted to, and the more I researched, the more that Vietnam came up as something that was more positive. So
How did you?
picked
But
it.
how did you know that you can teach in Thailand and Vietnam? Because I think a lot of people don't realize.
I don't know. I feel like I just knew that was a thing.
Right.
I don't know how I knew that, but I knew that people did it.
Okay.
I think more recently that's kind of become more popular,
Yep,
right?
100%.
Like I remember in like 2015 or 2016, a girl that I worked with said that she was going to Vietnam, and I was like, why would you go there?
Yeah,
It just
well,
didn't make sense to me.
yeah,
like
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know anything about Vietnam at the time, and I think most people who've never been here, like they just think of this war-stricken like country that's in poverty. There's nothing there. It's all like, you know, carts and stuff. Like my grandma, when we had lockdown last year for COVID, she was so concerned because she's like, where are you going to buy your groceries? All the markets are going to close. I'm like, we have grocery stores. We have really nice grocery
People don't
stores.
quite understand how this place is actually has evolved so much to the
Mm-hmm. Especially Ho Chi
extent
Minh.
that Ho Chi Minh, like Ho Chi Minh doesn't feel like a third world country whatsoever.
No, not at all. I don't want to say like third world country. You know, Vietnam is a developing country.
It's so developed. It's way more developed than a lot of South American countries that I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm from there. And it's safe, which That's the biggest concern that people have is safety.
Right.
And I feel way safer here than I did in Australia, America, Colombia.
America for sure.
America, 100%.
Might get shot.
yeah.
I know. I also feel really safe here. Of course, petty crime is common, especially now with COVID.
Of course.
There's no tourists, so in my neighborhood, there is a lot of petty crime right now. A lot of bag snatching.
Really?
Yeah. So, but otherwise, I don't want to scare anybody.
Damn.
But otherwise, I feel so safe in Vietnam. I've never felt unsafe for an instant.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, because Vietnam offered better pay,
Yeah.
as an English teacher, you said, okay, I'm going to go to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And how was the process?
So
Is it difficult? Is it difficult to come to Vietnam, visa-wise, work-wise?
Of course, what I went through is going to be really different from now, right? Like
Right,
I've
of
had
course.
people ask me in the last year, like, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I just rocked up,"
Yeah.
But now you're going to need permission. So what did I do? Yeah, I already had the degree. I just needed to do the TOEFL, like the
Right.
teaching certificate.
Yeah.
I went online. I found the cheapest one I could find. It was so easy. It was supposed to be 120 hours. I did it in like 40.
Wow.
And then once I got the certificate, the company that I did it through, like they offered like job assistance, so they helped me make my resume, and then they sent my resume out to a few companies. I had 2 interviews, and I went with one of them.
Wow.
And that was it.
Great.
Yeah, and the
Simple.
interview too was so simple. Like I was really nervous. I thought they would ask me, like really like
You
difficult
probably
questions.
ask you more jobs for a McDonald's
Yeah, well, they're
position
just like,
in the States.
You want to live in Vietnam? I'm like, yeah. Like, do you know where you want to live? I'm like, I don't know, maybe District 1. And they're like, yeah, well, I guess we'll see where your school is. I'm like, do I have the job? Like, I guess maybe they wanted to see I could speak English and I was normal.
Yeah,
That's all they could do.
yeah. And that's something I've noticed here. Like, there's a lot of English teachers because what you're teaching is not like crazy high-end English. It's just the basics.
I guess it depends, right? Like, you could be an IELTS teacher
Of
or
course. But I've
something.
known like people from South America, people from Italy, people that don't even have like perfect English are English teachers just because they know the basics. So tell me though, what is the pay rate as an English teacher?
That's a really good question. So I think the thing with Vietnam is like they don't really like to give a general pay. If you look in all the ads, it's just
Yeah.
like contact for payment.
Right.
Because it depends.
It all
right?
depends, yeah,
First of
yeah.
all, it depends on the job. Right? Is it a international school that's, kids are paying like thousands of dollars to go to?
Right.
Is it a public school?
Yeah.
Is it in Ho Chi Minh? Is it in
Yeah.
a little town? What kind of qualifications do you have? So I'd say, do you want me to give it to you in dong or dollars?
Dollars, yeah.
Oh, I'm not American though. So I'd say starting would be maybe like around $20 an hour, maybe
Right.
$18 an hour, and then it can go up from there. So my current school, or my new job,
Yeah.
I'm starting a new job. My new job is $25 to $35 an hour, which is more than what I made at my insurance job.
Wow. Oh my
I don't make 35,
God.
but yeah, it's
It's
very
around.
high.
That's crazy. Jesus Christ, you're staying in the cash.
I'm so
My
excited
God.
for this new job.
and not to mention the prices here,
Yeah.
like, are ridiculously cheap. I mean,
I
I don't
know.
know what you're paying, but here in Vietnam, I don't think if you're spending $1,000 a month, like, you're going all out, really.
So I'm definitely spending more than $1,000.
Of course, because you live in Ho
But
Chi Minh,
yeah.
but in other areas in Vietnam, it's so cheap. It's so
And
cheap.
also, like, I do kind of make a rough budget.
Right,
But
right.
if I want to do something, I'll do it. If I want
Yeah.
to go on the trip, I'll go.
You don't look at
Because I'm never
prices.
going to have this experience
No,
again,
no,
right?
no,
So
no.
it's not often that I say, no, I shouldn't do that.
Of course not.
So that's why I have no money.
Yeah. No,
Or
but
minimal
that's fine.
savings, but
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
How do you like your job as an English teacher?
also depends on the day.
Depends on the day. Okay.
So I've been working in kindergarten for
Okay.
2 years now. Like full day kindergarten. I do the nap time. I do the lunch. I do all of that.
Wow.
So
you work a lot of hours.
depends on the day. Yeah, like my current students, I haven't seen them now for a few weeks, right? Schools have been closed. And I miss them so much. I see them 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm with
Right.
them more than their own parents.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I love them. But I also sometimes want to throw them out the window.
Of course. It's not easy.
It's
not easy.
3 to 6 years old. So yeah, I love teaching kindergarten though. It's so fulfilling in a way. Like we had this little girl, her name's Me. She's the cutest kid I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And she joined my class July last year. She could not speak any English. Like, she couldn't speak English at all. But she's so cute and she's so sweet, and she just wanted to learn so bad. And just being with me now for almost a year, like, she's speaking in like 3 to 4 to 5 word sentences, and she's still 3 years old. Like, she just turned 3 recently. So that was so fulfilling to me to see, like, I did that. You know, I took this kid, and now she can speak English, and she's so kind and polite, and, like, I did that. That's such a great
Aw,
feeling.
that's
I think
great.
that's the best. Any teacher will say that the best thing about the job is just, like, seeing the kids and their improvements and, like, how excited they are. You know, a lot of the younger kids, like, they want to show you so bad that they understand you. Like, they'll rack their brain for a long time trying to find the right words in English, and I'll say, you know, you're 4 years old. Like, say it in Vietnamese to the TA, and she'll translate it. And they just want to do it by themselves, and I love that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so good.
so
That's
fulfilling.
cute. Are you still teaching kindergarten?
Yes. So
Okay.
my new job will also be a kindergarten job, but
Okay, cool.
less hours. I'm not doing the lunch and the nap anymore. I'm just teaching.
Oh, that's good.
So that's
good.
kind of nice because I don't have a lunch break right now. I just, like, sleep in my classroom.
Wow.
So it's not enjoyable.
Yeah, no, I understand. Okay, cool. So job-wise, you're happy, you're content, the pay is good.
Yes.
How was it settling down in Vietnam for you when you first arrived?
I'm settling okay.
You know, like-
the first few months were really challenging and it cost a lot of money, right? You have to get the apartment and you have to get your motorbike and, like, the visa and your work permit and all of that takes a lot of time. But there's still hiccups, of course. Right now I have to get a new visa and a new TRC, and that's going to be a pain in the butt. But I feel more confident now that I can navigate the waters at least a little bit better.
How did you feel finding an apartment here?
The first time it was weird, you know, like traditional, like Vietnamese apartments. Like there was no kitchen in my first apartment. It was just a room with a bed and a
Right.
mini
That's
fridge.
usually how you do it,
And
just
I was
the-
like, oh, this is cool. And then I lived there for a month and I hated it. Like, I hated not having, like, counter space and stuff to, like, cook on. So I got out of there super fast. And since then, all my apartments have been, like, kind of more standard, like,
Yeah.
North American style. But it's pretty easy. Like, it's just all on Facebook groups.
Yeah. You don't have to. It's not like you have to go to a real estate agency. You have to apply for an apartment, get approved, sign a contract. It's a whole process. Here I find that it's so simple, as in, like, do you like it? Yeah, I like it.
Great, move
Okay.
in.
Move in, pay me the cash, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's so much more simple here, and you don't have to use an agency, but there are a million agents here, and
Yeah.
it's free for you.
Yeah,
It's
and they're very helpful.
It's
They're
the
very
owner of
helpful.
the building that will pay the agent fee, right? So, like, I have a few agents that I've used, and they've showed me different apartments. Like, they don't care which one I pick.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah.
trying to be helpful, and
Right,
I'm
right.
like, okay, great, I like this one. Oh, I don't like this one, and kind of just go with what fits your budget. But
Right.
you know, some agents, you make a post asking for this, and they try to give you something else. It's like, oh, I want a 1-bedroom in this area. They're like, what about a 3-bedroom in this different area that you didn't ask for? It's like,
It happens all the time.
that's not what I asked for.
And driving. So you have your own scooter?
Yes.
Okay.
I
So do you have a
pink
license
scooter.
here?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
So how did you buy a scooter?
You need a scooter to buy or you need a license to
To
buy
buy
a
a scooter?
scooter. So actually, I bought it on Facebook as well.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of funny. So
How much did it cost?
I wanted a pink scooter.
Oh, you were
that was
looking
non-negotiable.
for a pink scooter. Okay.
If anybody watching this knows Frances, so the adventure begins. I found her blog before I moved here, and she has a pink Honda Cub. And I was like, I need that. I need that so bad. Not trying to copy her or anything, but I just thought, like, this is my Lizzie McGuire dream, you know, like to ride around on a little scooter. So I found it on a Facebook group. This girl was selling it. I paid $10 million. It's like 500 Canadian.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
really well priced.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know how to drive, though. She brought the scooter, and she's like, do you want to test drive it? I was like, what if you test drive it and I sit on the back? I could have bought, like, a POS.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I still have it 3 years later, and I've never had
Wow.
any serious
3
problems
years
with
later.
it. Yeah, her name is Penelope.
Okay,
I
and
love her.
how does it work? Because I've never bought a scooter. I've rented a scooter, and it's very simple. You give him the cash, he gives you the scooter, and you go.
Yeah.
And then you return it, and that's it. When it comes to buying the scooter, like, do you have to
Same thing.
register it?
No. So as a foreigner, like, you can't put your name on the registration, the blue card.
Yeah.
So I just gave him the cash, and he gave me the bike, and that was it.
And you did. And what about, like, expiration
keys, too.
date?
No,
It
there's
doesn't
no,
expire. No, nothing.
There's no like registration. Like I know in my province we have to renew our license plates
Every year?
No,
Yeah, yeah.
nothing
No.
like that
Wow.
here. Yeah, that's why you see a lot of like really old, like crusty bikes because nobody's checking up on them,
Wow.
right? Whereas like
So
in
you
Canada,
just-
if your car was crappy, you got to go get a safety, and if
Yeah.
it doesn't pass, then your car's off the road.
That's right.
But
Yeah,
here
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like you see a bike and it's like black smoke coming out. You're like, wow, that's it's an old bike.
Wow, that's amazing. So $500 has given you transportation for 3 years. Ridiculous.
Of course, with like, I got to change the oil. I had to get a new battery, just like
Yeah,
some
yeah.
little things, new tires. But yeah, 3 years, I know.
Wow.
It's like my
And
favorite investment.
How much money do you spend on petrol per week?
So my monthly budget is $300K
On
on
petrol?
gas. Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
that's like, that's like $15.
It's like $15,
Oh
maybe
my-
like $10 US.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, per
and
month.
I drive like 10 kilometers to my work every day, which is kind of far. Like most people in Ho Chi
Yeah,
Minh live a
that's
bit
a lot.
closer than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really good. Like
Wow.
I was paying like $50 every week, maybe in Canada,
God.
50 Canadian.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's
it's-
mind blowing.
And they pump the gas here for you too.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do anything. You just tell them like how much you want.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Namoy. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. Have you had any accidents or have you had anything happen to you? Yeah.
Yes.
Because driving in Ho Chi Minh is chaotic.
It is.
Scary, and it looks unsafe. I've
Yeah.
never driven here, but it looks unsafe.
It's definitely not safe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, but I'm really glad that I learned here because now I can drive anywhere.
Oh, yeah, you can
Where-
kill it. Yeah, you can drive backwards anywhere.
Yeah, where if you learned in like a small town or like somewhere like Da Nang, they have really nice roads there. You would come to Ho Chi Minh and kind of be like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
thrown off. But yeah, and I started with the baddest place, and now I'm a pro. Accidents, yeah, I've had 3, but I haven't had any for 2 years. Just like when you first start driving, you're
Right.
unsure of like brake speed, and you don't anticipate people like cutting in front of you
Or
and
driving the wrong way.
driving the wrong way, driving on the sidewalk,
Oh,
like
yeah,
coming
yeah.
out of nowhere.
There are no rules here.
No, there's no,
No
rules.
rules.
Just do what you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe use your signal if you feel like it. But I do.
Yeah, I do too. I
Of
do
course.
Too, I do too.
Or
and
maybe-
people here don't
maybe
have
use
a
your
right
mirrors.
mirror. Have you noticed? People don't have a right mirror.
I saw your TikTok about that.
Yeah.
But I've never noticed that.
Oh yeah, dude. And everyone says
Why?
it's because you drive on the right side, so you don't need to. You
But
don't.
people are gonna drive.
Yeah, they don't. They're like, no, it's fine.
That's funny,
And
actually.
they say so you can look at your girlfriend or something like that. They said.
So that's
So
the
you
only
can be
reason they have a
talking to your
mirror.
girlfriend.
Otherwise, they'd have no
Oh,
mirror.
and also because it's easier to weave through people if you don't have mirrors. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A funny story. So my friend from Canada came to visit a few years ago. We went to Phu Quoc, and like a few of her friends had come with her, and yeah, like a few of the bikes like didn't have any mirrors on it, and they were like, "Oh my god, like there's no mirrors on the bike." I'm like, nobody uses them. Like it doesn't matter if you have them. Just use turn your head.
Yeah, yeah,
And also
yeah.
we were in Phu Quoc. Like
Oh,
there's
Phu
no
Quoc is
traffic
fine.
or
Yeah, yeah,
anything,
yeah.
but they were so nervous to get on a bike because it doesn't have a mirror on it. It's like, babe, It's
ne-
all right.
Newbies, no.
don't worry about it.
Okay, cool. What about dating? How do you feel about dating in Vietnam? Because I feel a bit sorry for the girls. For the guys, I mean, we have variety to pick from.
Yeah.
For the girls, like, a lot of girls have said that they're not into the Vietnamese guys. They don't find them that attractive. So the opportunities or the menu for you guys is obviously not that diverse.
Yeah. Honestly, dating in Vietnam is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
I have gone on so many dates, and yeah, just a lot of the guys here are just not
Your cup of tea.
great. It's not that they're not my cup of tea, but I don't want to like be offensive to the men that live here because there are some really great guys that live here, but somehow all the great guys that I meet are like a boyfriend of somebody.
Yeah,
Like
of
all the
course.
good ones.
They're
Obviously,
taken.
all the good ones are taken. But I've had so many conversations about this, and especially for like some of the older women that are here, like
Right.
the pool is nobody. This woman, I think she was in her mid 50s, and she made a post in the Fexpats. Fexpats, it's like a expat group, but only for women. Or women identifying, the guys are terrible, so women only groups make a lot of sense. But she was saying like she's never succeeded more in her business since moving here, but her personal life has never suffered so much.
Wow.
You know, she's like, who wants a mid-50-year-old foreign woman?
Right,
Nobody.
right.
And she had to make that decision, which would be more fulfilling for her career or her personal life, and she chose her career.
Wow.
Now, you know, I'm still youngish. There's
Yeah.
still like a pool, but with COVID, a lot of people have gone, and nobody can really, or a limited amount of people can come in the country. So
Yeah.
it's really
And after
hard.
being here for 3 years, I'm guessing like you literally know every expat.
Like, yeah, I'm like, hey, I've been on a date with every single guy here, and they're all terrible.
Yeah.
So-
Well, do you like Vietnamese guys? Do you like Asian dudes?
You know what? I've gone on like a few dates with Vietnamese guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter to me, like
Yeah.
the nationality or like where you're from. But as I was saying to you earlier, like, you know, I'm like a typical Canadian. I love lumberjacks. Like I
Right.
like
Yeah.
big, tall, like size large facial hair, like maybe a flannel shirt kind
Yeah.
of thing. And like, of course, like that doesn't fit the typical like Vietnamese guy.
Not at all.
So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like not just maybe not so much attracted, but I've seen some very hot Vietnamese guys.
Oh, okay,
Like some
okay.
guys that work at my school.
Oh, there you go. There you go. She's hitting on her own
But
students.
of course, you know, like
Nice.
I love talking. So if there was a significant language barrier, like that would be a problem for me.
Yeah, yep.
But yeah, like I know this sounds so like kind of weird to say, but that has been the biggest motivator for me to leave and go back to Canada. Actually, is you know I would love
Wow.
a relationship. Like I would love a relationship, and I would love somebody here who I could go on all of these adventures with
course.
and like do the the travel couple thing and like kind of
right,
I don't know,
right,
that would
right.
be so fun, but yeah, I just haven't found it.
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry.
If
I hope
anybody
you do.
listening
Like-
wants to go on a date with me, then
There you go.
message me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Slide 'em on
If
DMs.
anybody is interested to coming to Vietnam
Just
and
for
you're
me.
the lumberjack looking dude, Cass is
you know
waiting.
what? I'm throwing looks out the window. Like it doesn't matter what you look like. If you're just a nice person and you're funny, and you have good banter, like I'm very sarcastic.
Yeah.
I like that, like back and forth. So yeah, it doesn't matter what you look like. You don't have to be a lumberjack.
Aw.
Just have a good heart.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just be funny.
And good communication skills.
Yes, of course. Don't
Yeah.
be a dick.
Okay, cool. All right, what about like culture and food here?
Food.
Yeah.
Lots of food.
Lots of food.
Lots of food. Am I into the food? Is what
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
asking?
yeah.
You know what?
What do you eat here? Because there's everything here. The
Yeah.
variety here is so diverse. Like
We're lucky in Ho Chi Minh.
Ho Chi
like,
Minh is insane.
You want
dude.
Ethiopian food? There is an Ethiopian place, Sarah's. It's really good. Yeah, you could get anything you want here. It depends.
What
Again,
yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
well. Like more recently, I'm trying to be a bit more healthy, so I'm cooking my own food,
Oh, that's good,
and
that's good.
it's just more like traditional, like Western kind of food, like pasta and
Yeah.
salads and stuff. It's like for some reason, if I get delivery, like want dinner to come to me, I never order Vietnamese.
Yeah, me either.
I don't know why. Like, but
It
if
doesn't-
I'll go somewhere and I'll have Vietnamese food, like all the last 2 weeks since schools have been closed, I've made it a point to go and try out all the places. I have a huge list of
Yeah.
places, restaurants and cafes and stuff, and I just never seem to cross them off. So I'm doing that now. I've had like pho like 3 times in the
Wow.
last
Okay.
week.
And you
so-
like it? Do you like pho?
I do like pho.
'Cause do Canadians eat a lot of soup? Are you guys a soup?
Soup? No,
Nah,
but
nah,
like
me either, yeah.
back in my hometown, Kitchener, my dad and I we would always go to this Vietnamese restaurant. It was called like
Oh, okay.
Pho. Oh, someone making fun of me. Pho. Tao Bo. I don't know, but I was uncultured. I'm like, oh, let's go get some pho.
Yeah, of course,
Nobody
of
knew.
course.
But my dad, like my dad would always get the pho, and I would
Wow.
get something else. So I'm not personally big into soup.
Right.
But my
Okay, so
best
you knew about
friend-
Vietnamese food before even coming
Yes.
here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I'm like, oh my god, the spring rolls. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
But my best friend, she loves pho, or one of my best friends, she loves it. She orders it all the time. It's like $15 Canadian.
What?
And she came to visit me, and we had pho every day because she loved it so much.
course, of
it's like
course.
$3.
Yeah, it's so cheap here. It's so cheap
Mm-hmm.
here. Like, no, Vietnamese food here is delicious. It's cheap and it's healthy. I think it's very healthy.
Mm-hmm. I just saw actually that Vietnam has the lowest obesity rate in the world.
I'm not surprised. They're so skinny, man.
I know.
I live with Kelly
feel so
and her
bad.
family, dude. They eat so much.
Where does it go?
I don't know.
Right? Where
That's
does
what
it
I
go?
ask her. She eats more than I do. 100%.
Oh wow.
100%. I don't know where it goes. I really don't know where it goes. I have no
Like,
clue.
I know where mine goes.
Yeah, me too. It stays there. But I don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where they. I don't know how they do it. But yeah, okay. Vietnamese food. What's your favorite Vietnamese dish?
That's a good question. I think probably either a really good Vietnamese barbecue. Like,
Oh.
have you ever been to like 5KU Station?
No.
Go. It's a little bit expensive. I'm sure there's cheaper options,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's the one I know of. So,
Yeah. Is
like
it the one
Korean
where-
barbecue.
oh, Korean barbecue.
But
Okay.
it's not Korean. It's on like a grill, like an actual little grill thing, and you grill your own meats and vegetables.
Oh, nice,
I love
nice.
that.
Okay,
it's also
okay.
a fun experience because
Okay.
it takes a while
Right,
to cook
right.
your food. So it's nice to go with your friends. You have beers, and you just casually flip
Yeah.
your little meats. You feel like you're barbecuing.
Yeah.
Or probably bun cha.
Bun cha. I like
love
bun cha.
bun
Bun cha is my favorite too.
So yummy.
Yeah. I like the sweet with the savory.
Right, and like the broth is always just like so complex and flavorful. Like
And the mint with the
Yes,
vegetables in it
yes.
is just it's a weird combination of flavors that it's so satisfying. So satisfying. I
and
agree
the
with you.
spring roll that comes with bun cha is called like nem something. Oh, that's the best
Yeah,
spring
yeah,
roll
yeah,
of all time. Period.
And it's so cheap.
It's
dude.
so I know
It's
it's
like-
so cheap. It's
I
embarrassing.
think the cheapest bun cha I got was like, I think it was something like 45 or 50,000.
50,000.
Yeah,
It's cheap.
which is like.
Oh, I had a
that's like
48,000
70
bun cha,
cents. That's like
actually.
70 cents or some stupid shit. Like,
50,000.
yeah, I think.
It's like $2 US, I think.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah.
$3 Canadian.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's like,
but
it's
still,
like,
like,
yeah,
what can
yeah.
you buy for $3 Canadian?
You can't get a whole meal for that for sure.
A McDouble.
And it comes with a little tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
all
everything.
the noodles. I'm like chomping on the bun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is communicating with people here in Vietnam? Do you find it difficult? Do you find it hard? Do you find that a lot more people speak English than you expected?
To the last one, yes. I didn't think that English was so prevalent, which I should have known, of course. Like, there's so many English centers in here, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be to the level that it was.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's the main reason that my Vietnamese is progressing so terribly, is because there's not like an urgent need to say something. Like
Right.
if I need to communicate something, there's at least a little bit of English, or like I know a little bit of Vietnamese in the context of like business, right? So I know all my numbers, like, and I can say a lot of random words. I know food and things like that. So if I look at a menu and the menu is only in Vietnamese, like I understand kind of what everything is,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I couldn't string together a sentence. And that actually makes me feel like really shitty.
Yeah, me too. But I've met people here that have been here for 5, 6, 7 years, and they're like, "Look, I've tried my best, but it's just a very difficult language."
But I also heard it's also simple too. Like I think the words and like the intonation is challenging,
Right,
right? To get the
right,
different
right.
accents.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, like the grammatical structure
I
is
heard
quite
it's-
simple. Like I think you would like there's not different verb tenses. You would say like I eat yesterday, I eat tomorrow, kind of thing, instead of saying like ate or eat or
Right,
will
right.
eat.
I agree.
So
That's
I think
what they
once you
say.
know the words, like it's quite simple. But yeah, like it being a tonal language and
Yeah.
like the
What I find struggling is the way you pronounce the words and the way you have to put your tongue in the right places and stuff like that. I've struggled with, but obviously with time that gets easier and easier.
Of course.
I've only been here 1 year, and the first 8 months, like I didn't speak with anyone from Vietnam. So then I started dating Vietnamese girls, and that's when I started getting more involved with
Yeah.
the Vietnamese. And I've slowly gotten better. But
That's like you have like a built-in teacher, basically.
yeah, if she wants to teach me, you
If
know.
she wants, but
no, she does. But yeah, exactly. Okay, so you found that people here speak a lot of English because that's what
In Ho Chi
in Ho Chi
Minh,
Minh.
for sure.
It's crazy. Like the lady that sells fruits in the streets that is making little to no money speaks pretty
or at
good
least,
English.
or
Like,
at least English in the context of the business.
exactly. Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
she can't have a nice conversation about you
I mean,
with
she-
you about your day.
Right.
But like, maybe she'll know the names of the fruits and like some
Right,
numbers.
exactly.
But I can at least know the name of the fruit and I know
Yeah.
numbers. I can ask how much,
Yeah,
about you.
exactly. Oh, okay.
You know?
So how is your Vietnamese?
Terrible.
Yeah,
Absolutely
How-
terrible.
what you know now? How did you learn it?
Just like picking it up, right? Especially when you're driving and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you see a building, it's a dentist,
Right,
and it
right.
says like, oh my god, I can't. Don't laugh at me, like Nakwa or whatever. I don't know how to say it. I'm like, oh, it's obviously dentist office.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
you see like signs, bridge.
Right.
I know this word is now bridge. So you kind of just through living, you kind of
Through living.
incorporate that, right? But I've done a little bit of Duolingo. Duolingo sucks though. I think I don't know. It's teaching me like umbrella and be. It's like, that's not important.
Unnecessary stuff.
Right?
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
let's get to the real stuff.
Right,
so
right,
actually,
right.
I'd like to take Vietnamese lessons, but I've just never done that yet. But
Yeah.
it makes me feel... Maybe some people, it's fine that they can go like years living here and not speaking Vietnamese. But for me, I just think it's disrespectful to move to a country and just demand everybody speak your language.
Right. It is rude. I agree with you.
So
I
at
agree
least,
with
at
you.
least an effort.
And when you speak a little bit of Vietnamese, they really appreciate
Of
it.
course,
They
yeah.
really appreciate it. They
You just
like
at least
it.
try, right? And
Yeah.
if you both can communicate, Google Translate, and a lot of pointing at things like this. I want this.
Yeah.
Hand shapes. So I've never had like a situation where I could not communicate whatsoever.
Nah. They make it work. They make
Yeah.
it work. What about the expat community here? How do you feel? Is there a lot of expats? Do you feel a little bit left out, as in not enough people to communicate with that you can relate with, or because you're in D2 and that's like
Expat Central.
expats.
It's like the club where we all hang out.
Exactly.
My first year here, I lived in Tan Phu, which I don't know. Do you know where that is?
No, I don't.
Far.
Yeah.
It's like past the airport. It's far, and I lived there for a year.
Yeah.
I hated it. And that was terrible because no expats live there and nobody speaks English there.
Right.
So it was a lot of like pointing for me if I wanted to order something.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I live in D2. I think the expat community in Ho Chi Minh is quite large. I feel like I heard somewhere there's 30,000 expats in Ho Chi Minh City.
Wow.
Is that right?
I don't
I'm
know,
not sure,
but
I heard it somewhere.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is like that.
Right, with like the kids and stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure that's correct. Because here there's a lot of expats, and
Yeah.
when you go out, I don't know, 20, 30, 40% of the people are expats.
Depending on where you go, like
Yeah.
near my house, there's like a bar, restaurant, a little activity place called Saigon Outcast.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. They always do events and stuff. And when I go there, I'm like, oh my gosh, like everyone here is foreign.
It doesn't even feel like Vietnam.
No, but the last weekend I actually went to a restaurant in my neighborhood in District 2, Thao Dinh, and me and the person I was with were the only foreigners there. It's really like common to still be the only foreigners, especially now we have no tourists.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's kinda common, but,
and that's right now during the pandemic. I can't imagine when there was no pandemic. This place must
lot
have
of
been
tourists.
yeah.
It was
Okay, so
bumping.
you were here when there was no pandemic.
Yeah.
How was Vietnam?
Crazy.
Oh my God, I can't imagine.
But in a good way, like
In a great way,
When I
yeah.
first moved here, I went to Boi Vien a lot.
Yeah.
Now I can't even remember the last time I went to Boi Vien.
This looks so sad
It's
now.
fun though. Like I love Boi Vien, but yeah, it's so sad now because the majority of people that are going there are the tourists. They are the foreigners. So yeah, it's kind of sad to see now, but it was fun like to go out and like meet people and like ask them about their travels and like give them advice if they had questions. Like that was really cool. But I feel overall like the expat community here is sound. Problems though, of course, is transience. Right, like people are just coming and going all the time. Nobody's not nobody, but a lot of people aren't putting their roots down. So you might have a friend, and then like a few months later, they move away, and it's like, oh great. Well,
that happens a lot here.
now
I think
have
that's
no
the
friends.
traveling life, though. You have to be ready for that. That's the
Yeah.
traveling life. Like people don't last forever.
Still sad.
It's very sad. It's very sad. But those type of people that you just meet for a small instant, they can be the best of friends for you, and you'll still stay in touch if they're worth it. Of course.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like now that I travel a lot, I'm way more picky with who I stay in touch with. So if I meet someone that's worth it, like, okay, this is gonna be a good friend.
Right.
So maybe you're just choosing wisely your friendships as you would have done back at home, and you just be friends with anyone just
Yeah.
because.
It's kind of cool though, like, because now I have friends all over the world. It's like, hey, I want to go to Australia. I can stay with you, or like,
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
can
the
go to
best.
this country and I have friends there. So yes, it does suck though when you have a group of friends and it kind of goes
very
away.
sad.
But if you connect with them, then yeah, there's always opportunity to see each other again in a different country or on a different trip.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now I like kind of have no friends. So.
Aw, I'm your friend,
I know.
Kaz. What about me?
I know. Well, you're like
dude?
new. You're new in the friend zone.
Okay. I'm still
friend
being.
area.
I'm still in the
Recent addition.
application process.
Yes.
Okay.
My people will get back to you soon.
Okay, Kaz. So what is your plan? What do you plan to do?
My plan is to not have a plan.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that.
So I applied to grad school, to go to school for criminology, starting this September, for last year, actually.
Yeah.
I applied to grad school, and kind of a funny story. So I was in Cambodia at the time. I was in this cute little town called Kampot. It's one of my favorite places I've ever been to.
Oh my
It's
God.
so cute.
You've been to
Little
Cambodia.
hippie
That's
town.
amazing.
Yeah, I've been like 4 times now. I've traveled extensively. I really like Cambodia.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like it. They say it's like dirty. It is dirty. And very like rough and raw.
Yeah,
but that's why I like
there's,
it.
there's a lot of places like that. But it's what is it? Is it the thrill? Is it fun? Is it exciting?
It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just cool. Like, Cap and Kampot
And it's completely
are so
different
cool.
to Vietnam.
Very different, in my opinion.
Wow, that's crazy.
I feel like it's probably what Vietnam was kind of a few years ago, right? Like, there is a tourist path, but it's not super clear. And a lot of people who go to Cambodia, like, they're just like, yeah, I'm going to go to Angkor Wat. They go to Siem Reap, spend a few days there, and then they head out when there's like a bunch of other things to do.
Right.
But back to what I was saying. So I was in Cambodia.
Yeah.
I'd applied to do my master's in criminology, and I didn't expect an answer so fast. I think maybe 2 weeks had gone by since my application was submitted, and I got an email like, "We've made a decision." I'm like, so I go in the portal, and I got accepted, and I just started crying. But I didn't know if it was happy or sad tears. Like, I was happy because I'm proud of myself.
Of course.
Getting accepted to a master's
Yeah.
program is a big accomplishment. Yes, thank you.
That's what we all want. Yeah.
But I was also kind of sad. It just didn't feel like it was the time to leave. So I declined the acceptance to stay another year.
Wow.
And now we have COVID. And what is the point of making plans when something like COVID exists?
Yeah,
You know,
I
like,
think-
you can plan all you want, and it's going to go out the window at some point.
COVID
so,
has really opened the eyes to a lot of people that I think were blinded.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people were thinking 5-10 years from now. COVID has made people realize that nothing is certain.
Exactly.
Nothing is certain.
Not one thing.
And so if you're doing something today that you're planning for the next 5-10 years, no,
Just do
that's
it
not
today.
how life is. Yeah, that's not how
Do it
life
now.
works. Yeah, do it now.
So true.
And how does your family feel about the lifestyle that you're living?
You know
are
what?
They, are they supportive? Are they not? Do they sometimes question your decisions?
You know, so like the main person in my corner is my mom. You know,
Uh-huh.
shout out Mama Cass. I love her so much. Actually was on the phone with her last night, like crying. We were
Aw.
crying together because I have not seen my mom in almost 2 years.
Wow,
That does not
that's
sit
hard.
right with me. Like,
That's difficult.
you haven't hugged your mom in 2 years. I was supposed to go home like last summer, obviously couldn't. And but my mom, no, my mom is so supportive. Actually, again, my poor mom. She was supposed to come and do a 1-year trip in Asia,
no,
leaving.
no.
Guess when she was supposed to leave? Like
Maybe-
middle of March.
Oh, no.
So, like, a
no,
few
no,
days
no.
before, like,
she would be
Vietnam
here
closed.
if the virus just like was maybe
She
2
would have
weeks
been
later.
Well, she could have still come to Vietnam. Like, she already had her visa, but we were just like, what's the point? Like, what's
Yeah,
the point of
yeah.
coming? So
When
she would have
everything's
been
closed down.
not
Yeah.
stuck, but she would have been in Vietnam the whole time, or who knows if she would have been in Vietnam the whole time. Like, we didn't know what was going to
Yeah,
happen.
she
so-
could have gotten stuck in another country.
Yeah, like, Vietnam was her first place,
Right.
but you
But
know,
the-
she was like, "Do I want to like not waste, but do I want to use my 1 year of sabbatical to just come to Vietnam?" So she put it off. I feel so bad for her though because at that point
damn.
it was only a few days before, so she
Yeah.
sold her car and she rented out her condo and she quit her job.
Oh no!
I
Oh.
know. So now, like, she got her job back, and she rented it. She couldn't kick out her tenants, so she had to like move into another house. She had to buy another car.
Wow.
Yeah, she's so
Damn.
resilient, though. That woman, I love her
Well,
so much.
if she's anything like you, I'm sure she's a great
That's where I
person.
got it from.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
my mom is very supportive. My friends are very supportive at home. We keep in like regular contact, and, like
Right.
group chats and stuff. So yeah, I really, really, really miss them. Like I miss them so much. I just want to give them a big squeeze.
Yeah.
But like they're supportive of me, and I'm supportive of them. Like there's no
Wow.
anger or resentment there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very lucky like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that I ask to a lot of people that I interview is, let's say that you were to talk to the cast before she came to Vietnam. What would be the best advice that you would give that girl that maybe had the fear, had the worry of leaving home, taking the leap, risking everything to travel?
What would I say to her? You know, I do like I'm very sure of myself, and you know, I've lived now. This is my 3rd country. I'm not scared of taking risks,
Right.
but I still just want everything to be like this.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm such a planner. I love planning things. Like trip planning is one of my favorite things to do. But I always like plan everything. You know, I'm not really like go with the flow in a way.
Yeah.
So I think when I first moved here, that was a big adaptation for me, and was one of my weaknesses was going with the flow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, I was having a conversation with my new boss at the time. It was public school. Anything goes in public school. Like one day it's like I'm on my way to school. Oh no, school's canceled today. Or like, oh, you have to cover this class in this random school that you've never heard of before. And you're just like, but I didn't plan for it. And it's like
Right.
so scary, but it's okay. Like you're not, like we just talked about, you're not going to be able to plan everything. So I think what's important is just, you know, young Cass, like just have a good attitude and use your resources and kind of figure things out. But don't worry if things don't go the way that you want them to in your mind, because something else is going to happen that's
Right.
probably going to be better.
Yeah. Okay. So don't worry.
Yeah, well,
Relax.
worry a little
It-
bit. Like I have
yeah.
anxiety. I worry a lot.
But at the end of the day,
But-
everything's gonna be okay.
Right? Like if something's out of your control, like you sitting on the couch, like I'm talking right to myself here.
Yeah.
You sitting on the couch with that bottle of wine and crying over it, like it's still gonna happen. That
Yeah.
thing that you're worrying about is still going to happen, whether you like it or not. So
Yeah.
just I don't know, just ride the wave.
Great.
That's all we can do now.
Okay.
Is just do our best.
Okay. Another question I have is maybe someone young out there, they're thinking, okay, my decision, should I go to university, pursue my career? Let's say there was no COVID, right? Or should I maybe take a leap year and travel?
I 100% recommend a leap year. I took a leap year before university. I did not travel. I worked because, you know, I was independent and I wanted to go to a different university than my parents wanted me to. And I was like, I'm going to pay for it myself.
Yeah.
So I worked. But regardless, I think a leap year is such a good idea. Whether you're working or traveling or doing like an internship, whatever it is, you just spent 14 years in school. 14 years in school. And you want to go and do 4 more years of school, you know, while you're still young, take the time to go and figure things out. And who you are after that leap year could be totally different, right?
That's right.
You might go in
Yeah.
right from high school thinking, oh, I'm going to do this with my life. I'm going to take this in university. And what a lot of people do is after their first year, they realize like, oh, I hate this. I don't want to do this at all. Now they've wasted a year of tuition and all of that money to kind of discover themselves. Like, do that outside of education. Yes, take a leap year, do whatever you want, and go back to school if you want to go back to school. Don't go back to school if you don't want to go back to school. Like, you're really going to figure things out, I think, in that year. And so you're only 18 years old.
Love
Like,
it. Yeah.
like, what are you doing at 18 years old? Like, I didn't know like where my butt was at 18 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
Okay, I didn't know
yeah.
anything.
know.
So doing that leap year, I actually changed my major. Like, my major was criminology. I changed my major to psych. And I just like did things a little bit differently, and I was comfortable because I worked. I went into my first year of university, didn't have to work at all. I just brought all that money with me. That was a huge stress relief. So yes, I
Wow.
chose university in the end, but having that leap year, like it was more comfortable for
Right.
me. Whereas I know now if you wanted to go and travel, like think how much you're going to learn about independence. Like you're not going to be scared to go to your dorm room when you move in and be like, oh my God, I'm going to meet new people. I don't know how to talk to people. It's like, no, you just traveled for a year talking to people of all different cultures and languages. Like you're sure of yourself now. Maybe you picked up some skills.
I love that.
And you're going to seem cool. Like,
I didn't
oh my
think
God,
about
you know
that.
that girl like a little bit older and like now she like traveled everywhere. Like she's so cool. Like we're going to be friends with her. So
yeah.
there's only benefits.
I never thought about it like that. Actually, yeah, traveling teaches you a lot, and not only that, but it does boost your confidence in a bit.
Yeah.
As in because you have to go through a lot of weird shit that you probably won't go through back at home.
Managing your own money, communicating if you're like gonna stay somewhere long term, getting your own apartment,
Doing your own laundry, cooking for your own self.
yeah, cooking, figuring out how to go through an airport, like you're
yeah.
managing crises on your own because there's no choice. There's nobody here for you, right?
yeah.
Maybe your mom can send you some money if you're in trouble.
Yeah, but
But otherwise,
that's
it's all you.
Yeah, it's all you.
It's very eye-opening.
I love it. Well, Cass, amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. As you guys heard from Cass, if you're young right now and there's no coronavirus going on, let's say you're listening to this in the future, don't go straight into school after coming from school.
No.
Take a leap year, go travel, go experience, find out what life is about, find your own self. And yeah, like this is a perfect example. And
Thank
who
you.
knows? You might take 1 year and you end up staying for 3 years
That's exactly what happened.
and be
to me.
happy as fuck. Yeah.
I was only supposed to be here for 8 months, and here we are 3 years later.
I know.
So you never know what's gonna happen.
Do you see yourself being back in Canada for good?
For good, I don't. You can never say for
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
knows? I would love
No,
to
no.
maybe live somewhere else, like maybe somewhere in Europe. But maybe like next year. I don't know. Maybe it might be time to move home. I don't know. But I say that every year, and I'm still fucking here. So.
Yeah, no. It's
What
hard.
did I say? Don't plan.
Yeah,
Don't plan.
yeah. It's really hard to go back home after you've traveled for so long.
And like, there's no bum guns in Canada. Like, what am I gonna do?
Oh, dude.
I'm gonna have to install one. Like, I can't.
Right? You can't live without that after.
No, I feel so clean all the time.
Oh my god. I literally. How disgusting were we before coming to
My
Vietnam?
dad told me a guy that he worked with when he was at home and he would, like go to the bathroom, he would take a full shower. Man, just
I don't blame
install the
him.
hose.
Oh shit, I don't blame him.
Anyway.
All right, guys, please do me a big favor. Follow Cass,
Yes.
YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. She does it all. She's a great person, as you guys can hear.
Aw, that's so sweet.
And thank you so much for watching. If you can please, if you found this valuable, share it with a friend. Share it on your Instagram stories. Leave me a review on iTunes, please. I beg you. It helps me so much. And I really appreciate you guys for listening, watching, and send me a message, because I don't hear a lot about my podcast. I hear a lot from like my TikToks and my YouTube, but not about my podcast. So if you guys are listening to this, please let me know you're listening to it. Sometimes I know I don't upload consistently, but I'm very picky with who I interview, and
Oh,
it's
that's a
English,
compliment to
it's
me.
Spanish. Of course, Cass. You knew from
Thank
the beginning
you.
that I met you. I told you I want to interview you for my podcast.
You did.
Yeah,
I
because
remember
you're
that.
bright, you're fun, you're entertaining, and yeah, no, like you're. I really like your energy. I really like your
you.
energy. You're
I'm
just
so happy I'm
positive.
here.
Yeah.
I told you, I didn't tell anybody this, but one of my goals this year was to be on a podcast,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't say that to anybody. I didn't know how it was going to happen. And yeah, you messaged me a few days ago being like, hey, come on my podcast. So this is kind of a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
So-
Well, that night that I met you, I told you I want you on my podcast. I want you on my podcast.
Yeah. It's a little blurry,
though. Yeah, but not for me.
I vaguely remember that.
But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a like, leave me a comment, and don't forget, all I'm trying to do with this podcast is to motivate you motherfuckers to travel and live the life that you have been dreaming of, that you see on Instagram, you see on Facebook, you see on YouTube. It's all possible. All you gotta do is take action. Until next time, Christian Rodriguez, bye.
You